a great story. Probably absolutely one of the first customers I ever started banking. He came to me. His request was an extremely small business loan. It really wasn't, anything larger than a car loan. But it has grown over the 8 years that I've been here. He has thoroughly succeeded and has become one of the best customers of the bank. He's loyal. He refers business to me every day, every chance that he gets, and that's cool.
And Hyde Parkway.
Telling you? Yeah.
Really, any changes for the mini TV over Bell and Hyde?
Good.
Item number 3, also second and final, ordinance 7397, Pine Ridge and Glenwood Drive. This is the residential development. Commission?
Okay.
Item number 4, ordinance 7398, same thing, this one out in Hillside Terrace. Okay, if we could, like to, we'll talk about, let me go item 5, I apologize, about to jump out of order here. Item number 5, transportation funding agreement. These are commonly called an advance funding agreement, usually executed between the city and Texas Department of Transportation. And it is to put the city on tap for 10% of the cost of certain pieces of the project. Prior to this one, the most recent one I think that we would have seen would have been the project that took Coulter north from the end of Woodlands up to the North Loop. This one is for the big project on the Southeast Loop. This is the city's portion of what's required to do right-of-way acquisition. We have to pay 10% of that, and certain utility, either relocation, adjustment, etc. Now, I need to be sure that we understand this is what gets TxDOT started. This is what we commit to as a sponsor, but there's more to come. And we're working on that part now. And that's the part rather than being the sponsor of the project, the city will step back into our role as a utility owner, and we will have a cost to begin relocating some of our utilities that are out there. I think that number could be pretty good size. We're getting great cooperation from TxDOT. They're really working it for us. But with some of the newer regulations, we can't have anything, in essence, under anything that's paved. You'll be able to cross it 90 degrees, but we can't end up underneath it. So that's coming.
Say that last part again, last you said.
The way those regulations are written today, we can't end up with a pipeline, and we have both water and wastewater down there. We can't have a pipeline that's under the pavement running with the pavement. We can cross it at 90-degree angles, but we can't be under it. So as they start finalizing physically where the two access roads and the pavement are going to sit, that's going to help cause a cost for us. The other thing that we know, because of making the up and down for the overpasses, there's going to be a place or two where our utilities are going to be too close to the surface. So we're going to have to lower them and/or move them.
Do you have to pump them in when you lower them for that?
You could if you don't have a way to go around it. Ideally, in fact, Tim's actually working on it. It may be that you're better off to go ahead and come under with a new lower pipeline, leave the one above running until you get it in, and then just switch them over.
But gravity, he's asking, eventually if gravity would make you have to pump it.
As far as putting in a
well, you go down and up. You've got to tie back into the old line.
It could, but you'll try to adjust the whole thing where you don't lose.
Do you always just go? Do you always go straight across? Do you ever angle it, or they don't let you angle it either?
We're not supposed to angle it. I won't say that you're not in there. Sometimes you don't know what's out there. The tobacco in the ground. So this is step one. These funds are on hand and available. This lets TxDOT continue down their path of getting this project going. And then we'll follow that up as we end up finalizing the cost for the utilities, and that'll specifically be for the utilities division. Questions on that? Okay, let's do item 6 and 7, kind of a little bit together. Item 8's related, we'll speak about it specifically, but let's do 6 and 7. I'm going to hand out maps, so this is a set of 2 different maps that I think will make that easier.
Jed, I didn't have that made for you to have one, so sorry about that.
You're fortunate Commissioner Sims is not with us today, so
Okay,
I'll take his place.
This is her dad.
I keep grabbing.
Yeah, they're sister. Knew that was
Moving along, Mayor, to item 6 and item 7, resolutions for the Texas Water Development Board. These are applications to receive money for the planning phase or the engineering phase of 2 projects. Both of them are wastewater projects. The one that says lift station 32 on it, this is that building that's on South Osage. It's on your left as you're leaving town. This is where we've had a couple of issues. In fact, an emergency repair on the line that comes into that. This is the design phase of that project that will allow us to replace that lift station. It's probably the one that's the biggest issue to our system. So the application is to get the money to do that design phase. If we're successful with that, we then get preference when we go back to actually apply for the construction loan.
So there's a low interest.
This is
Loan.
low interest loan. And they're still very favorable. They're not as favorable as they were when we did the well fields, but it's the same basic idea.
So 38 is number 6. 32 is number 6.
Lift station 32 is number 7. That's
Number
correct.
7, the cheaper of the 2.
And what revenue stream will be mostly paid back?
Water and sewer rates. And I believe the decision point for the Water Development Board will occur either in July or August. So we will know then, and that will incorporate into the following budget. And as y'all know, the last 2 years, those funds have done very well. Okay, the next one. And those of you that have been on the commission for a while are very familiar with the lift station that's out in Austin Park and some of the challenges that we've had with that. This is a project that will eliminate that and make a gravity conversion. And then, but this ties back to the new large lift station that's on Wolfland.
At Wolfland in Georgia is where it joins.
So this is kind of the tail end of that project that began back in
Before I became director,
03 maybe.
probably that far back, would you know? No, you were working.
This consists of lower lines. So it's gravity feed again. And that on the lift station.
Tim, it's a full gravity conversion. The lift station will actually come out.
That's correct.
Yeah.
We'll also eliminate another lift station.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that didn't mention that lift station 13 goes away.
Goes away.
Well, since I haven't been on the
It's in
commission,
Georgia.
what are the problems been? Have they been neighborhood problems or have they been operation problems?
It's mainly not an attractive feature to have in a city park, especially on those nice warm summer days.
Take a deep breath.
Okay.
Your neighbors never talk about it, did you?
No, actually, no. But that is the parsonage right there for the
Yeah.
Church.
pastor.
126?
Westminster's.
When the 2 come out on this one, how many total lift stations will have been decommissioned as a result of the new one? 5?
At least 4. We have lift station, the old 7.
Took the 2 out,
And
Georgia and Wolfland, and now 40, and 5 total.
I think it's
Now,
5.
these were the ones that were over 40 feet below those intersections.
What you had to dig, yeah.
That had to be basically just backfilled with concrete when they were done.
See, where was 13? Was it?
It's in Georgia. It's down here.
Okay, the engineer says it's 4.
4 total.
And he's probably right.
Okay, any questions on these two?
It is, okay, so it's not so much the abandonment of the lift station as the cost, it's the rerouting of the lines.
Long term, you have much lower operational costs, and you certainly eliminate some issues associated with having lift stations.
So a lift station, do you salvage something out of it, or do you just do it?
You're going to backfill the lift station?
We'll take the pumps out and some of the electronics, but they'll become just backup.
The large ones that were under Georgia that we first did. It's backfilled with concrete. The whole intersection basically was over manufactured cavern. Remember that was right there in that little tiny island where this little manhole. How many total lift stations on the system? I know we're not sequential anymore. No, in the whole wastewater system.
54.
54.
Yes, sir.
That's my age,
Not for long.
Relationship.
This might be a chance to move to item number 8 if there's no further questions. I remember her age because it's something funny she told me back.
Mine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't want you to ever remember my age.
I have no clue. But you were 21 when you were first elected. Okay, item number 8, Resolution Management Agency. This is kind of a, I hate to say on again, off again, but it's a requirement now of the Texas Water Development Board that we have to do a new one in order to apply for and hopefully receive the funding under item number 6 and item number 7. And we're the management agency now for the Federal Water Pollution Control Act. Now, we've actually done this before, so there's already one of these out there. It's just quite a bit older, and they want us to do a new one. We've had Marcus, an outside environmental attorney, look at it. We've compared it to the operations of the system, and we don't see that this is taking on anything truly that we're not already obligated to do. And because of the golden rule, if we don't do it, we don't get to go.
You don't get to play.
That's that. Okay, item number 9, appointments, boards and commissions. Advisory Committee for People with Disabilities. Hilda Easley and Myrtle Hodge are both eligible and willing to accept reappointment, should you so choose. Amarillo Hospital District. Bob Stafford, eligible and willing for reappointment if you choose. Ms. Hughes has served the terms, and we have a name suggested, Mr. Roger Williams. He's eligible and willing to consider. Top of the next page, your tax increment reinvestment zone number 1. Jason Herrick filled an unexpired term. Certainly eligible and willing to accept reappointment to his first full term, should you choose.
Okay, that's good.
Jason,
Good choice.
Jason Herrick.
Good choice.
Your 3 city members would be Richard Brown, Scott Bentley, and Jason Herrick. So there are 2 more coming, Amarillo College and the Groundwater Conservation District. They each have one, so they'll get back to us.
Yeah, I see. The Federation.
Consent agenda item A, the Women, Infants, and Children, the WIC grant. $751,000, still probably the only grant program out there, which each year comes up with more money rather than automatic cuts. We get
They do such a good job.
large number of clients, great program, and we're glad it continues to be funded. Any questions on WIC?
It seems to be pretty untouchable when they're cutting things, right? I mean, so far.
Has been.
Well, because Potter County enjoys one of the highest rates for all kinds of stuff.
Enjoys. They don't let it stop. Okay.
Item B, change order number 7, Potter County Wellfield Collection System. This is the final closeout to that contract. See on here that we're adjusting final quantities to match what was actually done. And then the 92 acres of grass, that's additional seeding that we needed to do because of our landowner agreement. Funding for this is within the original project budget, and overall the project is still well within the budget. So, pleased with that. Water Development Board has looked at it, approved the closeout subject to this item.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is this the last of the individual contracts to get their closeout letter?
I believe that's correct, sir.
Will be done.
Good job, Ed.
And the grass thing is necessary because it didn't grow well in 2011 and 12. It kept wanting to die.
You're fine.
But we'll get it seeded.
Okay.
Item C, solid waste refuse containers, now generic name for the trademark dumpster. 125 for the residential and 50 for the commercial.
So they are $500 each.
Let's see, very good. The 3 yards residential are $474 each, and the 8s, the tall rectangular ones, are $838 each.
The residential ones last about 7 years, right? How long did the commercial ones last?
I don't know, we have
Shorter
dramatically
lasting?
fewer of those than we do residential.
What are the shorter lasting ones?
Well, they both get repaired. You know, we bought sheet steel here not too horribly long ago to put the new bottoms on. And you saw Saturday the interest, how all that stuff works. Just almost amusing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's fascinating. People are fascinated with the way the lights do. Fabulous.
No, no. Item D is refilling our inventory of the pedestrian lights. We just signed off on the purchase by tooth and total of their lights for their project. Questions, comments? Anything on the agenda?
My mind was somewhere else. And Jason Herrick, is he being
Reappointed.
He's
He was-
reappointed, but he wasn't appointed for
Unexpired.
Unexpired term. So this will be his first full term. Okay, well, Mayor, with that, if we could, let's move to a closed session, work our way through that. We'll come back, have the meeting at 3, and then we'll have another item that we'll want to bring in after that.
The Commission, I'll call it closed.